Good morning, everyone. My name is Jed Bilubas, and today we are now going to discuss Jack London's To Build a Fire. So, firstly, the book has two versions: the 1902 or the first publication, and the 1908 or the secondary publication, the ninth edition. With the latter being more well known than its counterpart. So, the 1908 edition is more famous than the first publication, and we're going to discuss as to why it is. The 1902 version is more optimistic and less focused on the man's death. So the man named Tom Vincent. So the 1902 version has a name for the main character, and he survives the cold with only severe frostbite, and his experience ultimately leads to a more melancholic but wiser state of being, thus being enlightened. The weather is not as harsh and horrendous, meaning the weather is not as severe as in the other version. And the man in this version, does not have a dog to follow him, so there is no like partner. But in the 1908 version, this version is more considered more impactful and realistic. The weather is depicted as extremely cold and deadly, and the man's fate is one of death, highlighting the harshness of nature. So in this version, no, it is more realistic. It talks about more. It talks about more about death. Like it has the concept of death, and the man's struggle with the cold is more detailed and intense. So the man's suffering is clearly depicted. No, little every little detail of the man's suffering is depicted in this version. It is more detailed and intense, and the story explores the themes of man's arrogance and the power of nature. So man versus nature, ika nga. And before we proceed with the story, let us first know about the author, who the author is, and what his life is all about. So, John Griffith London, better known as Jack London, was an American novelist, journalist, and activist, a pioneer of commercial fiction and commercial fiction. By the way, commercial fiction is our books or our multiple books that are considered best, like those books that have this New York best selling. In general, commercial fiction are works or are literary works that is popular to the masses. and Jack London is a pioneer of this, and also in American and also for American magazines. And he was one of the first American authors to become an international celebrity, and excuse me, and earn a large fortune from writing. So because he pioneered commercial fiction, no, and these books are they sell easily to the masses, so the author earns a lot from his work. Okay, so now we're going to discuss the book, uh, which we're going to okay, so we're going to discuss the 1908 version, or the more realistic version. And in here, the man, which in this version, the man does not have a name, so let's just call him the man, or the protagonist. The man is a newcomer to the Yukon Mountains, and by the way, the Yukon Mountains is located in Alaska, which is a very cold place, and during winter time, the climate there is very harsh and dangerous if you're not prepared enough, if you're not uh, mentally, physically, and emotionally prepared enough to travel there. And in the Yukon Mountains, here lacks the necessary experience, and the main character lacks the necessary experience to survive in such harsh conditions. His naivety is evident as he underestimates the dangers of the extreme cold. And this was further reinforced in the passage, no, around the third page of the novel, page 3. The dog was worried. As for the man, he was not worrying. He was quite sure he could build a fire. He was an expert, and he was soon to be hungry. So this passage shows his overconfidence in his abilities and his lack of understanding of the severity of the situation. So the dog, which is the side character, The dog's role is to act as a foil to the man, emphasizing the man's flaws and the dangers of underestimating the environment. The dog's instinctual understanding of the cold and its focus on survival underscore the man's arrogance and lack of experience. The dog's presence highlights the importance of listening to one's instincts and respecting the power of nature. Ultimately, the dog's actions highlight the man's tragic fate. So, in order to fully understand the depth of suffering, the depth of suffering the main character is experiencing, the dog is there to like clearly like to like the dog is there to act as a catalyst, uh, as a way for the readers, as a way for us the readers to clearly look at it in a lens of a creature that is purposely built for survival. So, and lastly, we have the old man, which is a one-off character. Like, he only appears in a single, instance, and then like he's never mentioned again. So here the old man serves as a catalyst for the protagonist's actions, which ultimately led to his unsavory death. So the old man is there to like to how do you call this? So the old man is there, no, before the main character, and the old man being there and giving advice, giving like when he gave his warning to the main character, it serves as the catalyst for the main character to prove the old man wrong, which in turn led to his death. So the old man's cautions slingshot the protagonist's arrogance, in contrast to his careful reminder about the reality of nature being unforgiving and uncaring. So nature does not care about what about your suffering. It's just there to like it's just existing there. And the setting, so the story is set in the Yukon Territory during a harsh winter, specifically in an extremely cold environment where temperatures can drop to 50 degrees below zero. So below 50 degrees Celsius, to be specific, below zero. So it really is cold. And the location is the Yukon Territory, a remote and rugged area in Canada for its severe winter conditions. So, by the way, I have not fully specified here, but the Yukon mountain range is like this great mountain range in Canada, ranging in Canada the the southeast, to the south, to the most southeastern part of uh, of Alaska. And the time where the story happens is during the Klondike Gold Rush, a time when many ventured into the Yukon in search of fortune, often facing extreme weather. So it was like, so there is this event in history called the Klondike Gold Rush, where many 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 prospectors believe that the Yukon Mountain Range has a plethora of riches, like specifically gold, and that is being undiscovered. And in hopes of getting fortune, many prospectors went to the mountain range to search for this treasure. Okay, so the setting is characterized by boreal forests, where these dense woods filled with tall trees, frozen rivers and creeks. Since this story happened during the winter time, the man travels across icy surfaces which pose dangers, and the harsh weather conditions. The extreme cold is a constant threat, affecting the man's ability to survive. And the atmosphere of the setting is that the atmosphere is tense and foreboding, emphasizing the struggle between man and nature. The cold is not just a backdrop but a formidable character in itself, highlighting the themes of survival and human hubris. So the atmosphere surrounding the story, no, is not just a it's not just like a setting, but is also a constant. It's like an antagonist in a way, since the atmosphere or the setting, the location, the region in itself is like trying to test the man's limits when it comes to survival. Okay, so now we're going to discuss the plot of the story. The story is set in the Yukon Territory during a brutal winter where temperatures can drop to 50 degrees below zero. An unnamed man, or the main character, confident in his abilities, sets out on a journey through the harsh wilderness. The man is accompanied by a dog, which is more instinctively aware of the dangers of the cold than he is. So the dog here is not the main character did not bring a dog. Instead, the dog was already there, and it just followed the man in his struggle against nature. So the man dismisses the advice of an old-timer who warned him against traveling alone in such extreme conditions. As he travels, the man feels the cold but remains focused on reaching his destination. He is overconfident and believes that he can handle the situation without any issues. And here lies the hubris. So the man, the man thinks he can take on the cold, the harsh coldness of the Yukon mountain range all by himself, and his overconfidence led to his death. While crossing a frozen creek, the man falls into the icy water, soaking himself. He realizes the severity of his situation but remains optimistic about building a fire to dry off and warm up. The man struggles to build a fire. After several attempts, he finally succeeds, but the fire is quickly extinguished when snow falls from the branches above. As the temperature continues to drop, the man becomes increasingly desperate. He understands that he must build another fire to survive, but his hands are numb, making it difficult to gather materials. So during his travels, he fell into a frozen lake. He was stepping on a So the man was stepping into a frozen creek, not knowing that the surface of the frozen creek, is thin and cannot sustain his weight, and he fell into the ice cold water, soaking himself. And by the time he became aware of the severity of his situation, he desperately tried to build a fire. He did, in fact, build a fire, but he built it at the wrong place at the wrong time. So above a tree where it so he built a fire above a tree where snow is piling up, and when the heat of the smoke reached the branches of that tree, so the snow above, no, so the snow sitting on the branches fell on his fire, thus destroying the fire and making him more affected by the cold. In a moment of clarity, he reflects on the old-timer's advice and acknowledges that he should have heeded it. However, it is too late for him to turn back. The man attempts to build a third fire but fails again. As he succumbs to the cold, he contemplates his choices and the futility of his struggle against nature. Ultimately, he dies from hypothermia, while the dog, instinctively aware of the danger, leaves to find help. This is the time now where the main character became desperate for to survive, desperate for warmth, desperate to build a fire, but in the end, because of the cold and because he is wet and cold, he cannot do the things he wanted to do in order to build the fire. His hands and feet became numbed, and he was only there, laying beside the tree, contemplating his life choices. But since he cannot do anything, he just waited there for his death. And the dog, no, so all this time on his struggles, the dog was there by his side, but the dog, no, realistically, the dog cannot do anything. So he was just there looking at the man struggling, and by the time the man finally died, the dog to look instinctively went and looked for help so that the dog could, save himself. So the themes in this story are as follows. Nature is unforgiving. Never underestimate her. So the reason why we have a pronoun for nature is that many depictions called Earth Mother Nature, since Earth gave life. So Mother Nature is her, so nature is her. Never underestimate her. The story illustrates the dangers of overconfidence and the belief that one can conquer nature without respect for its power. So you cannot tame that which is untamable. nature can be controlled, but we cannot completely tame it. We do not